Hey, what is up and welcome back to yet another Gunpla review, and this one right here is weird for a whole multitude of reasons, the main one being, this is one of the most unique looking Universal Sentry mobile suits I've ever looked at, looks like some kind of metabot. And even odder is this box right here. So once again, this, believe it or not, is premium Bandai, even though you would not tell from the box. This looks like a full release Reborn 100 box right here, and this is crazy. Anyway, this right here, of course, is the Reborn 100 Shokew, even though it looks like it says Shokew, but apparently it's Shokew. And this right here is from Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. Once again, when it comes to P-Bandai releases, this video right here would not be possible without those fantastic people over at Bai. So if you're looking for some limited or hard to find Gunpla, then look no further than that link down there in the description. Now let's get on to the review. So before we take a look at the model kit right here, of course this is the Reborn 100 Shokew, which once again is a 100% built from the ground up kit for premium Bandai, which is a bit of a alarming trend. Let's take a quick look at the box. So like I mentioned, once again, this is made entirely from the ground up 100% for premium Bandai. And we've got that kind of trend again that this has a full box art. Not the kind of monochromatic thing we're used to looking at from P-Bandai. It seems like premium Bandai is evolving to have its own exclusive kits, which is, you know, when you can't actually get them all that easily, it's not a good thing. However, there isn't really all that much to look at on the sides of the box. It's just really the front that is quite unique, as well as the side there. We do have a front and rear image of what it will look like completed, as well as what it will look like in action. But besides that, it is plain-ish, but I guess super not plain if you think of it in terms of premium Bandai. In the box, we do have a full color manual. Well, at least the front and the back is in color. We do have some decals in here, which we'll take a look at really quick. This is your standard fare right here. Once again, this is 100% new for P-Bandai, and there is none of those Reborn 100 joints in here, those weird polycap joints. So not only is it made just for premium Bandai, it also is of the same, well, caliber and newness as the Zakuto Kai. On cracking the box open, this is what we get in here, so it is a fairly basic set. Besides this is one of the coolest looking effect parts I've ever seen in a Gunpla kit, for one reason: it's embossed. So not only is it super holographic and awesome like that, these parts are also three-dimensional, so they do stand out, these kind of rotor sections. So that is very unique. Besides that, what we get in here is the beam rifle, a pair of beam sabers with yellow beams, as well as these two sections for displaying them stored away. Optional parts including a right-hand beam rifle holding set of fingers, an action base, optional eyes, and lastly then, we've got the stickers. So first up, as for the stickers we have in here, we've got this tiny little sheet of color correcting stickers. The little green one here for 3, that is for using right here in the sight section of the beam rifle, and then number 1 right there, which is that pair of red stickers, that is for using in the upper sections there on those, well, big old bug antennas. Those should be featuring some red bits on them, like what you're seeing right here on the box art. As for the included decals, these aren't as premium as you would expect from a premium Bandai kit. These are just standard sticker style decals you'd see with pretty much any Reborn 100 kit or some high grade kits. So yeah, more and more this is seeming more like a regular Reborn 100 kit rather than a P-Bandai variant. So strange. So there's that full 360-degree spin of the Reborn 100 Shokew, so you can see absolutely every little bit of detail on this thing. So every now and then a kit comes along that absolutely blows away my expectations, and this is one of them. With that orange, I expected something akin to the bad plastic on the Cheese Master, and quality-wise I expected to be something like the Reborn 100 Gun Easy, which is a good Reborn 100 kit. But this is completely different from what I expected. The plastic is ridiculously nice and buttery, has that nice soft to the touch almost matte finish. The detail is crisp and perfect. The build is very unique in a lot of places, including down in the legs. It's got a somewhat asymmetrical vibe up in the shoulders, and this insect-like finish is like nothing I've ever seen from the Universal Sentry before, or really from anything Gundam before. And all in all, this is a unique kit right here. So yeah, late Universal Sentry designs start to get a little bit wacky, a little bit smaller and a little bit different looking. And this is definitely on the wacky side. So very insect-like. The armor is very insect carapacey vibed. But honestly, I have to say, I really do dig this. Mainly because the model kit is so damn good. It's got a lot of unique design aspects. Like I mentioned, down in the legs, it's very, very odd. And when I say odd, I mean odd in a good way. So this doesn't have feet per se. So this leg part is all solid to right here. And we've got these drop down toes. So that means the toes drop down while the thrusters in here, I assume they're thrusters, are still ready to go. So it kind of makes sense in a, blasting along sort of way. Even though, once again, I will admit I'm not all that up to date with Victory Gundam. I haven't gotten that far yet in the UC timeline. I'm trying to watch them all in order. It's taken some time. But as far as I know, from checking some stuff out really quickly here on YouTube, especially over on Gundam.info, this is how it flies. This is essentially like a big old rotor, kind of like a helicopter. But yeah, the Shokew rocks something in between a helicopter and a, well, wasp. It's really unique and really cool. And once again, the plastic is fantastic. It's almost matte, it diffuses the light in a very unique way, and honestly, I've never seen a model kit quite like this. Premium Bandai's doing some unique and fun things, and I dig it. Not so much the aftermarket prices though. So as for a quick size comparison, there it is beside the last two Reborn 100 Victory Gundam kits. Those are the Gun Blaster and the Gun Easy. Once again, these are great kits, but this is somewhat a little bit even better. Once again, thanks to the nice plastic and the fact that there is no polycaps in this build. There's how tall the Shokew would stand beside the traditional Granddaddy Gundam, so it is a little bit on the short side as you'd expect from a late UC design. And speaking of late UC designs, there is the Vignagina 2, if I'm not mistaken, Gundam F91, and Gundam F90. And just for the sake of example, there it is beside a big old Gundam. And that, of course, is New Gundam without the wing that always falls off. So now moving on into the accessories, there is everything that it comes with once again, and let's check them all out one at a time. So first up, as for the beam sabers, we've got two of these, a long-ish orange handle, yellow beam. Attaching them is the usual affair. You just have to stick them into the fingers like this. These are removable style fingers, but these are different hands to what we saw with Victory Gundam and the Gun Easy. Those had a tab in the palm, these ones do not. So that's how it pops in like that, curl in the finger, and there's an example of the bug-like Shokew with its beam saber equipped. When they're not in use, there is no need to detach both these parts because you don't use this handle for storage. You actually use this alternate shorter variant, and to attach these, they just pop up inside the leg like that, and they hold in, yeah, pretty well. Was just about to move on to the beam rifle right here, and I noticed I left the biggest bit of plastic just hanging off the handle right there, so if you noticed that earlier on, apologies. Anyway, now with that knob off, there is the beam rifle, and to me this is definitely the weakest aspect of the kit. It just seems so plain, it's just black plastic, and it doesn't really look very nice at all. However, as for the functional parts in here, we've got a handle that can flip up to the left only for that pew pew pew. It is blocked so it can't move off to the other side, and we do have a sight section in here which pops up just like that, and we do have that sticker there on the lens, so that is it up and that is it down. So the only alternate fingers we have in here for the Shokew are these ones right here, which are for holding onto the beam rifle. And once again, this is exactly the same as what we saw with the beam sabers. So anyway, there is a quick example of what the Shokew will look like with that beam rifle attached. The next to the weapons we have in here is actually always stored away. This is up in the shoulder. It pops out just like this, flips down like this, and this is the twin shoulder beam gun. So that's pretty cool. Once again, it just tucks away as simple as that, and that. Next up in here, we've got this, which is the twin beam rotor. So this is very, very interesting. I've never seen anything like this with a Gundam kit before. So this is essentially a bit of a mix of its primary mode of transport, an offensive weapon, and I assume it works as a shield as well. Attaching this is what you usually do with a shield, so it just pops into the hole in the back of the arm, like that. There is an example of what it looks like attached, and this can really screw with the light. I love this. If you get this the exact right way, you get such a cool prismatic holographic effect. That and the fact that this whole thing is embossed in these sections here, that is here, 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 and here, makes this quite the cool shield come propeller come rotor come buzzsaw. This is pretty cool. Next up then we do have some alternate parts for the eyes. So the standard ones are these black ones, which is when those shutter segments are closed. Swapping these out is very simple. You just pop off the top of the head, take out the eyes that are in there. In this case it was the black eyes. Pop in the red ones onto the top of the head. It's very simple. And then just assemble it back together again. No problems whatsoever. Well, unless you're terrified by the idea of having trypto eyes, but hey, who isn't? And the other set of eyes are these red ones in what I can only describe as weird tryptophobia eyes, or, well, they kind of look like the surface of a strawberry, don't they? I guess they're meant to be very insecty looking, or some kind of basic sensor, but those are trippy. Lastly in here then we've got a handy dandy base adapter. This is very simple, just attach it down here onto the, taint. Grab yourself an action base, doesn't have to be quite as magical as this one right here. And let's test this out to see if it's a good action base adapter or not. And yeah, absolutely no issues whatsoever. This is a very lightweight kit. It's very well designed, tough build, solid, so you'll have no issues whatsoever with that. So now moving on to the articulation and the build. And first off, the build in this is ridiculously solid. It's, well, very, very well designed. Articulation wise, up at the neck, we've got that standard giggity goo, so that is a double ball joint. There's the head all the way down, all the way up, looking to the right, looking to the left. That does get a little bit blocked so it doesn't spin all the way around. And there is that side to side tilt. We have a very nice shoulder joint in here, so it pops out like so, allowing the arm to raise up to that point right there, but also allowing it to move out to the front. So this is a very nice shoulder joint right here. And it all just pops back in, nice and neat, just like that. On top of that then we do have the full 360 spin. Shoulder armor is separate, full 360 spin at the upper arm. We have a double jointed elbow, so there is joint the first, there is joint the second, so we get pretty much all we'd want from that. In here we do have a double jointed wrist, so we've got this section in the lower end of the forearm, which moves up and down ever so slightly, and then we've got that typical wrist ball joint and a movable ball jointed thumb. We've already seen the second shoulder here with built-in cannon. That can move up like that, move up like this can fold out like that, and there's rotation up here. The inside of that isn't the prettiest thing ever though, so don't be looking in there. The ab crunch is pretty much non-existent. We've got a little bit there, not much, no side to side, and as for rotation, that can go all the way around. Inside the hips we do have a bit of a swinging mechanism, so that can move from there all the way back to there. This has a very uniquely designed upper leg because of this kind of cuff-like segment. So this is just on a fairly standard hinge up here, which allows it to move like that while the leg is moving, but it's a very nice design that doesn't tend to get in the way of articulation too much. Basically, it's like this kit's alternative to skirting armor. But anyway, there is the kick all the way up to the front, nothing in the way. There it is all the way out to the back, nothing in the way. Actually move the arm and you'd probably get that going all the way around. However, this does have its drawbacks because we do not get the full splits, not necessarily all that important. We do get quite a bit though. We've got a double jointed knee bend, so there is joint the first, there is joint the second, so you can't really fall to that whatsoever. And the design of the foot on this is wild. I've never seen anything like this before. So this whole segment attaches into this bit here, which is the only bit of foot that has articulation. So it drops down like this. Once again, that does allow both of those thrusters to function design-wise, which is pretty cool if they are thrusters. And then inside of here, we've also got this dropping down and up aspect, which I guess would have been the forward and back movement of the foot. In here, we also do have rotation side to side like this. So this is one bizarre foot, but you don't really get the most functional movement out of this as you would with a standard foot, but it's pretty cool to look at. Anyway, let's test this on the ground and see what we get. So functional movement test time, which means what can we get out of this without taking the foot off the ground? And there we go to the front. Let's see what we can eke out of this. That seems to be about it before this hits the ground. Let's see, out to the back. I don't know if that counts as staying on the ground, does it? I guess it kind of, ooh, weird. Look at that. That is unique. As for the side-to-side pivot, there is nothing in the standard mode like this. You can't get anything out of it. To get pivot, you need to drop the leg back at least that much, so you can actually detach that and bring it out. It's very, very odd is all I can describe it as, but when you do have it in this way, you can kind of get something out of it, so let's try it with the leg attached, see what it looks like. Yeah, so there we go. You can't really apply regular foot logic to this. This does look, well, incredibly odd, but at the same time, it's very unique, which makes it cool. We see the same old Gundam feet over and over again. It's nice to see something refreshingly new. Oh, and speaking of unrefreshingly new, I forgot to check this out because it has none of it, and that is, it has no upper leg rotation whatsoever because of this cuff design. Actually, that feels very like it's going to break it, so no rotation of the legs in this particular kit. So this kit does squeeze in a whole lot of wild, wacky action maneuvers, but at the end of the day, articulation isn't its strongest aspect, and if that's what you're looking for in a kit, this might let you down quite a bit, but what it does have is weird and kind of cool. Anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is one of those odd kits that I find so hard to rank, because it excels so well when it comes to looks, the quality of the plastic, the quality of the build, but it does flop when it comes to the articulation department. So the best way for me to put it is, if you really like unique kits that look good, feel good, are very unique, you will love this. But if you're looking for something that will pose up an absolute storm, this will not. You will get your basic poses out of it, just nothing extreme. So when taking everything into consideration with this particular kit right here, and the fact that it is a Reborn 100 kit, which to me tend to be a little on the subpar side when it comes to gunpla, I'm going to rank this right here gold tier. The build is so fun, it is so unique, the plastic is awesome, those ankles are very, very unique, and the whole package feels like something new. It barely feels like gunpla, which does seem to be the case a lot of the time when it comes to these P-Bandai exclusives. They feel like they're designed by completely different teams of people than your standard release gunpla, which is probably the case, which makes them very, very different. So once again, before I ramble on some more, if you like kits that are unique, high quality, feel great, then this is for you. It does have a bit of a crappy beam rifle, and the articulation could be a little bit better, but still, to me, gold tier. If you do want one of your own, I got mine through Buyee. You can get yours through Buyee too, through that link down there in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more gunpla reviews, and I will see you next time.